Hi, church. So I wanted to give you a midweek update about what's going on and some things that are happening. So one of the big things is we're trying to get through Acts, and we have like 3 or 4 more weeks to get done with it. So we're going to do some pretty big jumps through the book of Acts. But I wanted to give you some in-between stuff as we make jumps in the book of Acts. I wanted to get together with you during midweek and just kind of explain what's going on and give some devos around the stuff that we're jumping from A to like C, like what's happening in between those 2 points. I want to give you some thoughts on that as well, so that we can get through Acts and get ready to go into Christmas time. So I'm going to try to do videos every Wednesday. They're going to be devos or just some ideas that I had, maybe some unpacking from Sunday's sermon, some things that didn't quite make it in that I thought were really interesting. And if you guys have any questions that you want to give, something that you wanted more information on, feel free to text me or email me after the sermons on Sunday through Tuesday, and I'll be sure to look at those, and if I can, I'll try to address some of those questions. Opportunity for us to interact a little bit more. So today I want to talk about what happens in Acts chapter 16. We're going to jump a little bit. We're going to jump to 16, verse 16 this coming Sunday. Paul and Silas in prison, and there's like 5 verses in between where we left off to where we're going to jump to, and I want to talk about them really quick. I'm going to read verses 10 and 11, and there's a 2-letter word I want to talk about this morning. So Paul is in Troas, and he has this vision of a man in Macedonia that needs help. So after Paul had seen the vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called us to preach the gospel to them. And then verse 11, from Troas, we put out to sea and sailed straight for Samothrace, and the next day we went to Neapolis. So the 2-letter word I'm looking at in these 2 verses is the word we. See, I find this fascinating. Up until this point in Acts, Luke had just been recording the events of what had happened. He'd sat down and he talked with people that experienced it, and he was like writing a biography of the church in the first century up to this point. And then here in verse 10 and then verse 11, he uses the 2-letter word we. And what does that really mean? Well, what that means is that Luke joins in. Luke is no longer just recording events or a reporter coming in after the event and taking down the facts and writing them down. He becomes involved in them. You see, Luke joins Paul in the missionary journey here and on his second missionary journey, and then you're going to see him pick back up for almost his entire third missionary journey, where Luke is a companion of Paul through all this. And understanding that, making that decision to be a part of Paul's ministry is not easy. I mean, Paul wasn't an easy person to get along with. We saw that last week when we talked about Barnabas. But beyond that, man, bad things happened to Paul. I mean, he would be stoned. He would get in trouble with the local authorities, thrown in jail, like we're going to look at on Sunday with Paul and Silas in jail. Some bad things would happen. Shipwrecked and stoned and beaten and whipped. All these bad things happened to Paul. And not because Paul's a bad guy. These things happen because he's proclaiming the name of Jesus to a people that are desperate to hear the truth, but at the same time, they're unwilling to acknowledge it. And so Paul is doing these hard things, and Luke is joining in. He has made the decision that above all else, he's not a follower of Paul, he's a follower of Jesus. And above all else, no matter how difficult it can be, he's going to be part of it. And that's the invitation that each of us have into the church. You see, the church isn't about me as the senior minister or the elders or a youth minister or Sunday school teachers. The church is about us, about we. And we all have a role to play. And we're all called to be involved, to be a part of it. Luke gets off the sidelines in Troas and joins Paul on his missionary journey. And it goes from they, Paul and Barnabas, they, Paul and Silas, they, Paul and his companions, to we. We went and did this, and we did that. And Christ has called us into the middle of the ministry that he desires for us to do, to join him. That's the whole point of the Good Commission, Acts 1:8. Like we said early on in this Acts series, that's central to everything. You'll be my witnesses. To be witnesses means that we proclaim what we saw, what we know, and what we believe. And so we needs to be imperative in the church. There is no they, there is we. We are called to be a part of the ministry that Jesus is doing here in Gooding through this church. So I'm inviting you in. If you're on the outside, if you're on the sidelines, it's time to get in. Become part of the we. Do what Luke does. Join in the ministry that God's calling them to. Hey, I hope that's encouraging to you. What I want to do next is just a couple little announcements. Hey, remember, Treat Your Neighbor. Let me pull this up here. Treat Your Neighbor is happening this Saturday, October 31st. Usually around 5 o'clock is when trick-or-treating is going to start. So that's happening. So what we need from you, let me be really clear. Let me pull my video back up. Okay. What we need from you is we have like 5 host sites. My house, we have 3 host sites, including mine, on the southwest side of town. We have a host site on the southeast side of town, and then we have a site at the church. And we need people to partner with those host sites. And so what that means is so my wife and I are going to be out there, and we're going to be handing out candy, but we want to invite other people in to join us at our house and pass out candy and just, greet the people that are coming through and offer them the good things, donuts or cider or coffee or hot chocolate. We bought like a 50-pound bag of FFA potatoes. We're probably going to do baked potatoes at my house. People are going to come through. They're going to get baked potatoes and cheese, and hey, have a great day. Stay warm. There's a fire pit. Maybe we'll do s'mores. We need people to join in and just love on the people that are coming through. You don't need to prepare a meal. You don't need to clean. Just come and join in. But we need to know what to expect. So if you are going to be a part of that, if you want to be a part of it, I really do need you to contact me or Susan or the office. Email us. Let us know that you want to be a part of it, and we can help figure out where you're going to fit in there. Which side of town you want to be on. Do you want to work at the church? Do you want to be on the southwest side, the southeast side? Whatever it is, we need help. And so this is an opportunity for you to become part of the we that we were just talking about. So join us for Treat Your Neighbor. And if you can't physically be a part of one of the sites, which is fine, I totally get it. We want to encourage you and remind you that we still need candy donations, and we're looking for good candy, chocolate. We don't want the black and orange mystery wrapped up candy. We want good candy. We want to love the people around us, and part of that is giving the kids good candy. So we need some candy donations. If you can do that, you can drop them by the church in the mornings up through Friday, and if not, you can drop them off at my house. That would be fine as well. But church, I'm really excited about this opportunity to love our neighbors and to love the people that are walking the street and through the front yards, and just enjoy being with them. So I want to invite you to be a part of that. And church, I'm really excited about where we're headed into Acts and the things that are happening. So the thing I want you to think about as we head into Sunday, we're going to be, like I said, in Acts 16, verse 16 through the end of the chapter. Paul and Silas are in prison. This is a famous story. How difficult is it for you to worship when things aren't good? I want you to think about that idea as we head into Sunday. Hey, church, I love you. I'm excited about what's going on. Don't forget the context about Treat Your Neighbors. Have a great day.